Welcome to the Nameless. The hotel had reviews, photos, and a booking confirmation. When I tried to find it again, it was gone. Not closed, not under renovation. Gone. I didn't notice anything wrong at first. That's the part that still bothers me. I was driving through western Pennsylvania for work. 2-day trip, 1 overnight stay. I'd done it a dozen times before. Same highways, same gas stations, same stretch where your phone signal drops to 1 bar and never quite comes back. I booked the hotel the night before. Nothing fancy, just a place to sleep. The listing showed a 3-story roadside hotel called the Greenway Lodge. Beige exterior, flat roof, a little dated but clean. The reviews were normal. Too normal, actually. Quiet stay. Beds were fine. Front desk was polite but brief. 3- and 4-star ratings. A few complaints about thin walls. One person mentioned the vending machine ate their dollar. It was boring. Reassuringly boring.
The address pulled up on Google Maps without a problem. So did the phone number. I didn't call. I never do. By the time I exited the highway, it was dark. Not late, just dark in that rural way where the road lights stop trying. The GPS told me to turn left onto a 2-lane road with no shoulder. Trees pressed in from both sides, their branches leaning inward like they were listening. I remember thinking I'd missed a turn. Then the hotel appeared. No sign out front, just the building. Set back from the road farther than expected, like it had been dragged away from traffic on purpose. The parking lot was mostly empty. 6 or 7 cars scattered without any obvious pattern. No lights on inside them, no movement. I parked near the entrance and sat there for a second with the engine running. The building looked exactly like the photos. Same chipped paint near the doors, same faded green trim. But something felt delayed.
Like my brain was still catching up to what my eyes were seeing. I shut off the car. The lobby door opened without a sound. No chime, no bell. Just a smooth, silent swing inward. The lobby smelled like old carpet and lemon cleaner. Not unpleasant, just tired. The front desk was there. A long counter. A brass bell. A guest logbook sitting open. Pen laid neatly across the page. Behind the desk stood a woman in a dark green uniform. No name tag. She didn't look up when I walked in. I waited. She continued to look down at something behind the counter. Paperwork, maybe. I couldn't see her hands. After a few seconds, I cleared my throat. She looked up then, slowly, like she hadn't expected anyone to be there. Checking in, I said. She nodded once. Name? I gave it. She didn't repeat it back. Just turned the logbook toward herself and wrote something down. The pen didn't scratch the paper. She slid a key across the counter. An actual key.
Heavy. Attached to a rectangular wooden tag with a room number burned into it. Room 214. No receipt, no card swipe, no ID. I waited for more instructions. She met my eyes again. 2nd floor, she said. Ice machine doesn't work. That was it. I thanked her. She nodded again, already looking past me. The hallway smelled different, dustier, like something that hadn't been disturbed in a while. The carpet was thick, patterned in a design that tried to hide stains and failed. The walls were a yellow that might once have been white. There were no sounds, no TVs, no doors opening or closing, no footsteps above me. I passed rooms with numbers slightly crooked on their doors. Some numbers were newer than others, different fonts, different sizes. Room 214 was at the far end of the hall, last door on the left. When I unlocked it, the door opened too easily, like it hadn't been locked at all. The room was fine. That's the strange thing. Bed, desk, lamp, bathroom, all normal. The TV was older but worked. The air conditioner rattled when I turned it on, then settled into a low hum. The window looked out over trees,
Dense, close. No parking lot, no road. Just black shapes pressed against the glass. I unpacked, checked my email, scrolled through my phone. No service. I didn't think much of it. That stretch always had bad reception. I went down to my car to grab my charger. The lobby was empty when I passed through. No woman at the desk, no sign saying she'd stepped away. Outside, the air felt heavier than it had when I arrived, thicker, like humidity without the heat. I grabbed the charger, locked the car, and glanced back at the building. There were more lights on now. Not a lot, just a few windows glowing faintly. But they weren't the same ones I'd seen lit from the lobby earlier. On the second floor, 2 windows were lit that hadn't been before. One of them might have been mine. I couldn't be sure. Back in my room, I noticed the clock on the nightstand wasn't plugged in. The display was blank. I plugged it in. The time flashed 12 o'clock, then stayed there. I set my phone alarm instead. I lay down fully clothed, just to rest my eyes. I didn't sleep. At least, I don't think I did. The room never got quiet enough. Not loud exactly, just occupied. Every so often I heard something that might have been a door closing somewhere down the hall, or maybe it was the air conditioner shifting. Once I thought I heard footsteps outside my door. Slow, measured. They stopped right in front of 214. I held my breath. Nothing else happened. No knock, no handle turning. The footsteps continued down the hall. I checked the time on my phone. 2:17 a.m. No notifications, no signal. I noticed then that the room felt smaller. Not dramatically, just enough that I became aware of the walls. The ceiling seemed lower, the window darker. I turned on the bathroom light just to add another source of illumination. In the mirror, I looked tired, normal, but my reflection felt delayed, like it was watching me rather than copying me. I laughed at myself quietly. That was when I noticed the towel rack. It was mounted slightly crooked. The screws didn't match. One was silver, one was black. The towel itself was folded too precisely, corners sharp, hotel perfect. Except it was damp, cold damp. I didn't use it. When I turned the bathroom light off, I was aware, suddenly, sharply, that the room was too dark, even with the lamps on. The corners didn't reflect light the way they should have. I lay back down, stared at the ceiling, counted the little cracks in the paint. At some point, I must have slept. I woke up to silence. Real silence, the kind that feels loud. No air conditioner, no distant traffic, no birds. Morning light filtered through the curtains, but it looked gray, flat. I checked my phone. 6:42 a.m. Still no signal. I showered quickly. The water pressure fluctuated. Hot, cold, hot again. When I stepped out, the mirror was fogged, but my reflection was already clear. I dressed and packed faster than I needed to. In the hallway, there were no other guests, no doors opening, no housekeeping carts. As I walked toward the stairs, I noticed something new. The carpet runner ended halfway down the hall. Beyond that, the floor was bare concrete, like the building just stopped being finished. I don't remember seeing that the night before. Downstairs, the lobby was empty again. The logbook was still open on the desk. The pen hadn't moved. I glanced at the page. My name was there, written neatly. Below it were several other names. Dates, all from the last few days. No room numbers. No signatures. I looked for the woman. "Hello?" I called.
My voice felt wrong in the space, like it didn't belong there. No answer. I left the key on the counter and walked out. The parking lot was emptier than before. Only my car and one other remained, a dark sedan with no plates. I drove away without looking back. At the highway, my phone signal returned all at once. Messages flooded in, emails, missed calls. Everything normal. It wasn't until that evening at my next hotel that I tried to pull up the booking confirmation. The email was still there, but the hotel name was plain text, no link. The address didn't auto-map anymore. When I searched for the Greenway Lodge, nothing came up. No website, no reviews, no photos. Google Maps showed an empty stretch of trees where it should have been. I zoomed in, zoomed out. Nothing. I called the number from the confirmation. It rang once, then disconnected. I checked my credit card statement. The charge was there. Merchant name, GWL Services.
No location. I spent the next week trying to find proof. I searched archives, business registries, old travel forums. Nothing. I went back to the area the following month, took the same exit, drove the same 2-lane road. There was no turnoff. Just trees. No sign of a driveway, no gravel, no broken asphalt. I walked into the woods where the building should have been. The ground was uneven, untouched, like nothing had ever stood there. No foundation, no debris, just dirt and leaves. I checked my phone. Full signal. I still have the confirmation email. I still have the charge on my card. Sometimes when I'm half asleep, I can picture the hallway again, the way it ended too soon, the way the silence pressed in. And sometimes I wonder if the hotel disappeared, or if it never existed until the moment I needed somewhere to stay.